Welcome home. There is in this place the possibility of healing, of repair, of making things right within ourselves, between us and the wider world. We gather around this light of hope as we share this time together. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so.
And Liz will share some exciting announcements with us before we get started.
Yes. Hello and Grand Rising. Welcome to Wedgewood, everyone. We are so glad you're here. Next Sunday is Earth Sunday, and in honor of that, a longtime friend of Wedgewood, Wendy Pascal from Pascal's Farm will be speaking. She and her family are so incredible. They've spoken at Wedgewood before about their journey to the States, and we have had several events at their farm. And I'm gonna go ahead and plug this. We're gonna have our homecoming again at Pascal's Farm this year. So if you want to learn more about Wendy and Pascal's Farm before our homecoming and the work that they do, please make sure to mark your calendars for next Sunday and join us as Wendy speaks. And just a couple days from now, we have our next monthly meetup. We're going to be checking out Ricezilla Asian Restaurant on Albemarle Road. I've been checking out their menu and it looks pretty good. So if you're looking for a tasty meal and wonderful company, please join us. And our next social justice book club meeting is happening this week as well. And we're going to be starting the book, Daughter of the Boycott, Carrying on a Montgomery Family Civil Rights Legacy by Karen Gray Houston. It's going to be Thursday, April 16th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. If you'd like to follow along on the book, please read through chapter 3. However, you don't have to be reading along in the book to join us and listen in on the discussion. But we encourage you to join us, and you don't have to be a member of Wedgewood. You can come. All are welcome, and we hope to see you there. And May 17th, it's not that far away. We have our homecoming at Pascal's Farm at 11 o'clock. You know, I don't know about y'all, but I just love a good old-fashioned church potluck. So we try to have at least one every year in the spring for homecoming. I already know what I'm going to make, and I'm pretty excited. And I hope that you all have marked your calendars as well. But this is just a really important time for us. You know, we're still meeting on Zoom. And so having these intentional times where we get together in person for fellowship and community and reconnection is so important. So we hope that you will join us on Sunday, May 17th at 11 a.m. at Pascal's Farm for homecoming. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And if you want to get away and refresh yourself, spending some time on a farm with the baby goats and the chickens is the best way I can think of to do it. So please come and join us. And welcome everyone to Wedgewood, those of you that are here with us now live that we see on Zoom, and those that we don't see, and those that are joining us later in the day or listening to the recording later in the week. We are thrilled that you chose to spend some time with Wedgewood. Visitors, members, everyone is always welcome at Wedgewood. Wedgewood is very proud to be a liberal, diverse community that focuses on social justice. Our members come from all religious backgrounds and spiritual backgrounds and no religious or spiritual backgrounds. We are an open-minded community, providing a safe haven for you to explore, share, doubt, and question your beliefs as we grow together spiritually and intellectually. We hope you'll find something here at Wedgewood today that brings you back to our community next Sunday. Thank you for joining us. And as a community that considers social justice to be a cornerstone of who we are, we would like to acknowledge that the land we reside on is the unceded land of the Catawba and the Sugary people. We're all familiar with the Christian scripture that says, "Those who wait shall find renewed power. They shall soar on eagle wings, run and not be weary, and walk and never tire." But I want us to also listen to the words of Harvey Milk, 1978. He was the first openly gay man to be elected to public office in California as a member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors and was assassinated only 10 months later. Milk delivered this speech on the steps of San Francisco City Hall during a mass rally to celebrate California Gay Freedom Day, June 25th, 1978. He said, somewhere in Des Moines or San Antonio, there's a young gay person who all of a sudden realizes he or she is gay, knows that if their parents find out, they'll be tossed out of the house. The classmates will taunt the child, and the Anita Bryants and John Briggs are doing their bit on TV constantly. And that child has few options: stay in the closet or suicide. Then one day that child might open a paper and it says, homosexual elected in San Francisco. And there are new options. An option is to go to California or stay in Antonio or Des Moines and fight. 2 days after I was elected, I got a phone call, and the voice was quite young. It was from a little town, Altoona, Pennsylvania. And the person said, thanks. You've got to elect gay people so that a young child and the thousands upon thousands like that child who called me know that there's hope for a better world, that there's hope for tomorrow. Without hope, not only gays, but blacks, Asians, the disabled, and seniors and others. The us's who have no hope, the us's who want to give up. I know that you cannot live on hope alone, but without it, life is not worth living. And you, and you, and you, and you have to give them hope. Thank you very much. Rise up. The words of Harvey Milk. And our extravagant welcome will now be read and shared with us by Tom Hanson and Ashanti.
We are all welcome here.
Welcome to a community that works for peace, justice, equality, and the care of Mother Earth.
We are all welcome here.
An extravagant welcome to you because of your gender identification, sexual orientation, ethnicity, economic situation, physical and mental challenges, doubting or believing, being depressed or full of joy.
We are all welcome here.
We are a community of curious and creative spiritual seekers, striving to learn and embody the way of Jesus and other spiritual leaders.
We are all welcome here.
We focus on the plundered and the marginalized as we try to address the major issues of our day.
We are all welcome here.
You are invited to share your passion, your inspiration, and your personal story as one of the ways we helped heal the world.
We are all welcome here. Welcome.
You are all welcome here.
Yes, everyone is more than welcome at Wedgewood every Sunday and at every event that we host. We come now for a time of meditation and prayer. And I want to mention that Glency Rhetoric, that has spoken at Wedgewood several times, called me yesterday. And I'll just make a long story short. She's working with a senior citizen in Gaston County who has some serious financial problems right now. She's just had surgery. She's at home. There's a problem with the sewage. It's got to be fixed. The city won't fix it, and so forth. And so she is trying to raise some money to help this person. And she really needs someone that can help her set up a GoFundMe. And I've never set up a GoFundMe. So if you have time to do that and have done that, contact me or message me after the service and let me know, because she just needs a little help to know how to do that and set it up properly to get some help for this woman. And we also will want to remember that senior citizen in our thoughts and prayers as she heals and goes through this horrible time with her home. Are there other things you would like to share today? Chris and Vicky, certainly we want to remember as they heal from their falls. Others.
I'd like to share a celebration because we were talking about it during conversation, but I just have really felt uplifted by the Artemis mission. Um, it's been a real bright spot in many ways, and I remember Columbia, that awful tragedy, and so I was, you're holding your breath until they hit the water, and it's nice to have a happy ending every once in a while.
Yes, I agree.
I'd like to thank all that had donated to Chase's fund for him doing the travel and basketball. We appreciate that. We're halfway there, pretty much. Thank you.
And congratulations to your grandson on his great athletic skills.
Yes, and also doing academically well too.
Awesome.
Hmm. So thank you all.
So much in our country that we can't even begin to name, but we always want to mention that. We don't ever want to forget the people that have been disappeared by ICE, that nobody knows where they are. We want to remember our service members putting their lives on the line. Sometimes we wonder for what. It's a very bad situation. There's so much. We won't try to name it all, but please remember all of those things. Anything else? All right, let's have a few moments of silence in the spirit of Wedgewood. If you believe in prayer, please pray and lift these things up that we've named and other things that may be on your heart. Many people are suffering silently, and we want to always remember them as well. If meditation, if you want to use it as a time of self-reflection, get rid of last week, brush it off, get ready for the new week, and think, how can I make this week better? How can I be a better friend? How can I be a better person? How can I fight? How can I keep fighting what's going on? So many things. So use this time of quiet as you choose. Amen. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Elissa Miller from Time Out Youth. And Shay, I have a couple things to share. Screen share. We want to celebrate that today is the 35th anniversary birthday for Time Out Youth. They have been in existence for 35 years, helping the youth of our community. And we are so thankful for that. We are so grateful for all that they do. And we're just thankful that we have this program. Next slide. If you haven't ever been there, it's a beautiful place on Monroe Road. I've been there a number of times. She can tell you things that they need. I know that one time we were cleaning out a closet and we had a whole lot of table games, chess and other things. And I just called on a whim and said, would you all like to have these games? Can you use them for anything? And they said, yes. So we took them down there, just some board games for the youth to maybe play when they had the free time. So it's a lovely place. Next slide. You can see the inside, lots of different spaces for different uses. You can see a kitchen off to the right there. Next slide. great staff, great workers. God bless the people who work there and the work that they do, because they are doing holy work for sure. Our youth are so important. So we won't sing, because if you've heard us sing on Zoom, you would agree we don't need to be singing on Zoom. We would lose some people if we did. We've tried it and it hasn't worked. But let's all say happy birthday and give a big round of applause to Toy and the people there and the work they do and the young people who come there and the help that they receive. Thank you so much, and happy birthday. Everybody
Happy
shout,
birthday.
happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday. Happy birthday. Happy
Bless
birthday.
everyone that enters those doors. And now I will turn our service over to Elissa.
Thank you so much. Wow, that's so lovely. Hi, my name is Elissa. My pronouns are she, they. I am the communications manager here at Time Out Youth, and I'm really grateful to be invited here today. I know some of you might be more familiar with Toy and our work, and some of you might not be as familiar. So I'm going to try and cover like all of the information and bases today. I know Wedgewood has been a huge part of our holiday giving campaign for many years. So I'm really excited and grateful to be a part of this. I am going to share my screen and can everyone see this presentation?
Right now the screen is black.
It says, there we
Now
go.
we see it, yes.
There we go. Okay, I was like, I want to make sure everyone can see it before I just barrel on through. So yes, this presentation will cover a little bit about kind of the history of Toy, what we're up to today, and some of our future plans as well. And then I'll also have some space for questions. So what is Time Out Youth for folks who are less familiar with us and what we do? We are a community center located here in Charlotte where queer and trans young people ages 13 to 24 can experience a sense of belonging and community. And our goal is to support LGBTQ plus youth by offering vital programs, fostering unconditional acceptance, and creating safe spaces for self-expression. And not only to do that in our space, but to also inspire inclusive communities around the area where all youth can be equally empowered to reach their true potential. So the ideal goal being that like, Time Out Youth isn't the only safe and affirming space, but that there are many safe and affirming spaces where LGBTQ plus young people can go and find community. These are just some photos of us over the years, both our building, some housing move-in pictures, as well as us at the Pride Parade. How did Time Out Youth start? It's a great question. So Time Out Youth was founded in 1991 by a lesbian woman named Tonda Taylor, who founded Toy really in the wake of the HIV/AIDS epidemic, as well as finding a lack of support for LGBTQ plus young people in Charlotte. Her younger brother was diagnosed with HIV/AIDS through a blood transfusion, and she realized the level of isolation and stigma that was really there, as well as through her own experiences as a lesbian woman growing up in Charlotte. And when people came to her and were talking about needing a safe space for queer young people, she took it upon herself to do that and started Time Out Youth. We were a discussion group in the basement of a church, and also our first office space eventually was in the basement of a church. So really have like a long-standing connection with church communities that are safe and affirming. And our first discussion group was April 8th, 1991. So 35 years this past Wednesday, which is just an amazing thing, and really were like a homegrown community organizing group for, I actually spoke to Tonda a month or two ago, and we were talking about the beginnings of Time Out Youth. And for a while, the phone number for Time Out Youth was the phone number in her living room. So, really have grown and expanded far beyond that to today. Where are we now? We are a staff of 16 people, also 6 interns right now, so very full building, with multiple departments and abilities to offer direct services. So we still do our programs in our community building and those discussion groups, but we also offer housing and supportive services, clinical support, and trainings and consultations. And these expansions have really been guided by our young people telling us what they need and how we can be most helpful to them. So the basis that, we started with was a discussion group in a church. So community building has always been at the center of what we do. And I think these are the things we're most well known in the community for offering. So we have a number of identity-based support groups. So groups like Tea Time for our trans and non-binary young people, groups like Melanin and Magic for young people of color, and Space Aces for anyone who identifies on the asexual and aromantic spectrum. We also have a POC Youth Advisory Board to give young people of color more of a say in leadership roles in our center, and our full drop-in space, which Melba showed some pictures of, which has a computer lab and a library and games. We also do dinners, we play Dungeons and Dragons, there are open mic nights. There's something happening 6 days a week at the center, pretty much. And we also have a number of special events. So we're actually gearing up for prom in 2 weeks, which is going to be a really fun, lovely time. This is just an example of our calendar. So this is this month's April calendar. Just as an example, like I said, 6 days a week, basically, there's something going on at the center. And then we are also open just generally for drop-in and office hours. So prom is on here. We have a Sober Curious group running. We're doing a drum circle. There's so much happening in April. And this is just our promotion for prom. If you know any LGBTQ plus young people 13 to 24 that are looking for a safe space to experience prom for the first time, or maybe for a second time, they want a second chance at prom because they weren't able to be out for their first prom. This will be happening on April 24th. It's $5, but we also have free tickets available for anyone who needs them, and is located over in Plaza Midwood. So please send people our way if you know anyone who needs a safe and affirming space for prom. These are some photos of our events and programs. So our prom last year, graduation, we do a summer day camp program called Camp Out. So there's some photos from kayaking this past year. And our POC Youth Advisory Board went and took a tour of 96.1 with me, iHeartRadio, which was really cool. So that's up there as well. On the more service side of what we do, this is the part of Time Out Youth that's really expanded and grown over the years. So we offer both housing and clinical services. Like I said, these were things that we saw all the time at our discussion groups. These are the things that our young people need, and we're asking for assistance with. And so we've responded to those by growing these programs. So we offer no-cost mental health counseling for any LGBTQ plus young person ages 13 to 24. This means we don't bill insurance. We don't interact with them in any meaningful way. We hire full-time mental health counselors and we pay them through us, and that is really the basis for how our counseling is operated. We do prioritize those who have barriers to care. So whether that's you don't have insurance, maybe you are on a parent's insurance, but you can't come out to them. Maybe you are experiencing houselessness or you have limited income. Or maybe you just need a gender therapist who's like affirming of your gender and you can't find one in the community or you can't afford one. There are a number of barriers to why someone might not have access to mental health counseling that we want to make sure that we meet. We also have a robust housing and supportive services program. This has evolved many times over the years, but we ourselves do not currently offer or physically own our own housing, but we provide a lot of services and support to help you secure and find housing. So whether that is helping you get a space at the shelter, whether that's helping you find your first apartment, and in in the meantime, we offer a number of supportive services while you're on that housing journey, from looking over a resume, helping with employment. Can we offer you a bus pass? Can we help you apply for food stamps? All of those things. And then in center ourselves, we have an on-site shower, we have a laundry room, we have a kitchen. We also have a life essentials closet, which we say really contains all the necessities you need to start your day feeling like yourself, whether that is deodorant or shampoo or makeup, all those things that you need to feel like you. We also offer a food pantry and a number of food support. And have really grown and expanded that over the past couple of years to make sure that when you come visit Time Out Youth, you can come get something to eat, whether that's a warm meal or a snack. We want you to feel safe and cared for. We have storage in our space. So let's say potentially you've been kicked out of a home, or you're living in your car and you need a safe place to store your items. We have lockers and things like that on site as well. So you have a safe place to store the things you need for when you move in. And really our goal is that when we help you move into housing, that you're also able to stay housed, that you continue to receive assistance and care so that that housing can remain stable. So that's why we were able to offer so many emergency supports, and our emergency financial assistance is vital. It often might help cover an electric bill, or a car broke down and you need assistance getting it fixed so you can get to work. All of those things we want to make sure we can provide financial assistance for. So these are some photos we normally take like housing photo shoots when folks move in to celebrate they're moving into their first apartment, as well as a photo of our laundry room and our shower. We also offer trainings and consultations. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we want to make sure that every space, all spaces, are supportive of LGBTQ plus youth. So we often get asks from everything from businesses to educators to summer camps, any place that serves LGBTQ plus young people and wants to know how to do that in a way that is inclusive, we want to be able to assist. So we offer trainings like LGBTQ plus 101. We have a whole training on pronouns. It's something we get a lot of questions about. And we'll also do one-on-one consultations with professionals. So, for example, in the wake of State Bill 49, which was really difficult for educators to navigate around, how can I still be supportive with this Don't Say Gay bill in place? We did a lot of conversations with educators about, what is still allowed, what is available, how can you still have an affirming classroom? And this really culminates every single year in the Carolina Conference on Queer Youth. That conference is specifically for any youth serving staff in the Carolinas, whether you are an educator, a therapist, a librarian, you work at a museum, any person that serves LGBTQ plus young people or works with young people in any way is available to come and get a full day of training about serving LGBTQ plus youth. So these are some photos of that last year. Last year we had, I want to say, 89 attendees who came for a full day of programming. And I also really like to highlight the photo in the top left. That is a photo of our young people. Every single year, it is really important to us that the people who guide our work are the young people, that their voices are centered and highlighted, especially in a world where young people are often not given a chance to give feedback about the services and things that affect them. A lot of times it's adults in a room making decisions for young people without asking them. And so we want to make sure that young people are at the center of what we do, that youth voice is at the center of what we do. And so they always get a whole chance to talk about their experiences, take questions from the attendees, and talk about the things that affect them and what they need. These are some numbers from last year. If you are numbers people, last year we offered over 1,000 counseling sessions. We helped 47 young people move into housing. We offered $77,000 in financial assistance, and also provided many, many meals, life essential closet visits. Like I said, okay, we had 86 attendees at CCQI. In our drop-in space, was visited over 2,000 times. So that's anytime someone comes into our space, and whether they just need to sit down and have a safe place to be, or they are coming for dinner. And we also welcomed 372 new young people. So that's people who had never walked through our doors before, came and visited us last year. And I will say that these numbers in 2025 look very different than 2024 in that they are higher. We offered far more services and saw more young people. And I would really attribute that mostly to the fact that the world has gotten really hostile. It's been hostile for a long time, but we saw a real uptick in hateful rhetoric against queer and trans young people last year, bills introduced, policy at a number of levels. And so young people are looking for resources, they're looking for community spaces, they are looking for places that they know they are safe and that they can find safe community. And so those larger impacts in the world have a real impact on youth at a community level. And we are serving more young people than really ever before. We also are planning for the future. So we spent all of last year thinking through what does the future look like for Time Out Youth. Yes, we're in a time of real hostility, but the response to that should be planning for the future and continuing to expand and not shrinking in the face of this. So we talked to community members, our young people most importantly, but also that we collaborate with, our board, our volunteers, the people that we regularly work with in the community or who work with LGBT youth, and put together a plan for the future. So these are our kind of 5 areas in our new strategic plan that we are currently exploring. Really spending this first year doing a lot of research and thinking through the ways these can be implemented. So right now we are looking at how can we expand our housing services? What does it look like for Time Out Youth to expand in the housing world? Does it mean getting our own property? Does it mean renting from somewhere? What does that look like? We're also talking about clinical expansion. Right now we offer mental health counseling. How could we make it possible? What would it look like to be able to offer other clinical services, such as psychiatry or medication management, those things that kind of go hand in hand often with therapy? Our young people have also made it very clear that they want more in the advocacy space from Time Out Youth. They want us to stand up for them and to fight for them in a bigger way. And so we're thinking through who are our community partners, who can we collaborate with, what does advocacy look like if we take an expanded advocacy role. We're also talking a lot about access. Who is not coming into our space? Who are the people that we aren't reaching? How can we make sure that we are accessible for every young person of every ability, of every language, and expanding and making sure that we can serve the entire Charlotte community. And we're also reflecting on our board and making sure that our board accurately reflects and serves the young people. So, does our board look the same as our young people do? Does our board have lived experience? All of those things. We want to make sure our board is reflective of our community. So these are the 5 areas we're really looking for in the future. If you want to learn more about this, there is a video from our CEO on our YouTube channel talking about 35 years and talking about our plans for the future. And you can find that on YouTube. But I wanted to share it here as well, especially because the Wedgewood community has been so tied to Time Out Youth for a very long time. So if you're thinking about supporting Time Out Youth and you're thinking about making, say, a financial donation, I want to talk a little bit about where those go towards. I think that's a question people often have when they're thinking about donating to an organization. So it helps us provide transportation to and from work or a housing appointment, maybe a doctor's appointment. It helps support our life essentials closet, food and meal support. We provide welcome home baskets to young people when they move in. So that's like all the essentials you need when you move into a new apartment that you might not think about, like a shower curtain, a laundry basket, Clorox wipes, like all those things that kind of add up. We also provide gift cards and direct aid to youth in need of emergency funds, whether that's for groceries or gas. It subsidizes our therapy and our counseling costs, and it also helps us host programs and support groups like our prom, like our Dungeons and Dragons, all of those things. if you're thinking of donating items or your, financial giving isn't your the way you like to give, these are the things that we're looking for all the time. We will never say no to them. These are the items that we are very regularly looking for. So that is stuff for our life essentials closet. It is largely supported through community donations and community giving campaigns. So that's things like shampoo, conditioner, soap, deodorant, dental hygiene. We also accept new packages of socks, underwear, and undershirts, as well as lotion and Vaseline. Um, I would also specifically flag items that we don't get as often, but would really always like to have, are things like makeup. I think people don't think about it, but that is gender affirming care, especially for a lot of our trans young people, as well as hair care products specifically for Black young people. We need to make sure our shampoo and conditioner serves every hair type. So that is always what we are asking for over on the Life Essentials Closet needs. We also operate a food pantry. During the SNAP impacts this past year, we really expanded those services, and we're grateful to get additional community support for the food pantry, but we are always accepting donations of food. So think like a food pantry, canned goods, rice bowls, cups of noodles, ramen, but also like your fresh goods. We have a kitchen at our center that young people cook at every day. We have a freezer space. We are always looking for things like fresh fruit, eggs, milk, drink options other than water are always, people are thrilled about them. Think about young people who are 15, like what do they want? Gatorade, those kinds of things, as well as frozen items. So we're always looking for chicken tenders and fries and veggies and frozen pizzas and all those kinds of things that can be a little bit more accessible, especially if you think a lot of our young people maybe haven't really had access to a kitchen or might not have a lot of cooking skills because they haven't had the chance to develop them. So we are always accepting food pantry items and would love support from those things. If you're looking to get involved with Time Out Youth or want to grow in the way that you do that, we would always accept, like I said, supply drives are a huge need. But you can also volunteer. We have a virtual volunteer orientation. So in order to get involved as a volunteer, you can complete a course online, and then you complete a background check and are a part of our volunteer community. We also love groups of volunteers. Groups of volunteers, the number one way they can join us is by providing dinner on a Thursday or Friday. So if cooking is a way you express love and is something that calls to you as a way to give, we are always accepting folks if they want to either cook dinner in our center, cook dinner at home and bring it in. If you're like, I don't like to cook, but I want to provide food, I'm going to go pick up a Chipotle catering order. Awesome, great. We love that. If you want to deliver pizzas to us, all those things. There are a lot of different ways to get involved as a dinner volunteer. You can also share the word about us. The number one way when I talk to young people, when they come in our center and I'm like, hey, how did you hear about us? The answer is 9 times out of 10, someone told them about us, whether that is a friend, a social worker, a therapist, a hairdresser at the hair salon. I've heard everything. The number one way you can really assist us is making sure that people who need us can get to us and know that we exist. And you can also follow us on socials or subscribe to our email list if you want to stay connected with us, if you want to see announcements, if you want to hear about our successes or when we need assistance. Those are 2 ways you can really stay the most connected with us. This QR code, if you want to scan it, if you're watching this, it will take you to our link tree, which has a bunch of links on ways to get involved and volunteer and get connected with us, as well as our website. And so I will stop sharing. Thank you so much for having me. And if you have any questions, I believe now is probably the time for that.
I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you so much for the work that you do.
Yeah.
I used to be involved with Time Out Youth back in the day, and it is so great to see how much y'all have grown. I don't know if you know this, but I saw it's I forget if it was either you or Melba shared through your monthly calendar, but the sexual health chats on Discord, I actually helped start those because I used to work at Planned Parenthood. So it's just so great to see the work that y'all do, like continuing on. And I'm just so proud of y'all.
Thank you so much. And I'm really glad that it continues to live on. Planned Parenthood still runs that, so that's lovely.
Yeah, I did what Liz said. Everything she said. It was amazing to see all that, and I really liked the presentation too. How you set it up. That we could see you on the side and see the slides as well. But it's amazing what you've done and what the whole group has done. I get giddy about it. It's wonderful. I mean, you thought of everything that they would need, or a young person that would need, to keep their balance and to keep their, like you said, keep saying, part of a community, and that's so important when they're in their teens to be part of something that's positive, because a lot of times they can go to another group and it not be so positive. So to have this space and all this opportunity and help, I mean, all these different ways, that's just great.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. I did see a question in the chat that says, are school counselors aware of toy and do they make referrals?
Mm,
Yes, we, I think, have the benefit of being around for so long
mm,
and having done a lot of work in schools for a number of years. We definitely get referrals from school counselors very regularly. I will say that conversation is different post State Bill 49, which, if you're not aware, it was a Don't Say Gay bill, and has really changed the way schools are able to interact with LGBTQ plus organizations. But we definitely are still as involved as we can be, and school counselors are able to make referrals, and we see that a lot. I've talked to a lot of young people who are referred by a school guidance counselor or a school guidance counselor emails on their behalf, all of those things. But definitely the public school system in particular has been really impacted by State Bill 49.
that's great.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and make a suggestion for us. We have our monthly meetups. Once a month, we go somewhere. We go to a different, we're trying to support the immigrant community, and we go to a different restaurant every month to eat together because we're on Zoom. We don't get a whole lot of one-on-one time together. And I'm going to suggest, and I will take the responsibility for this, if you would like to donate to their food or life essentials closet, bring something to the monthly meetups. I pass Toy every time I go out because I'm right down the street in Cotswold. And let's start bringing items. I'll put that list that she shared in our newsletter. And anybody who wants to, let's let that be something we support. Bring food or the toiletry essentials, life essentials items to the meetup, and I will drop them off at Toy the next day,
Yeah.
because I'm right there. If anybody who would like to do that, I think that would be a really good cause for us, and it would help you too. And
Yeah.
something we
Let's
can do
also
that's
do that.
ongoing.
Let's do that for homecoming as well. There'll be a
Yes,
lot more people. We can
let's
do a
put it
drive
out.
on homecoming.
And
Thank you so much.
everybody at Toys invited to homecoming. I'll send you the information.
Thank you so much. That's so
Your
lovely.
clients are welcome to come to homecoming. We'd love to have them join us for homecoming.
I will absolutely let them know.
There'll be some great food there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Love that.
Anything else? I
I
wanted
want to
to
put a
ask
shout
one
out to.
one quick question about at the men's shelter. I know there were some issues with the young people at the men's shelter and the ages. What do you do? How do you handle that? Can they go to the men's shelter? Is that a safe environment with the men who are there?
So we do have placements in the shelters, and we do have relationships with the shelters here in Charlotte. I can't speak to like the specific particulars because I don't work on the housing side of things, but I do know we have young people who access the shelter. Our goal always is to help our young people transition into permanent housing. So whether that is a first apartment, is really typically our main goal. So while they're in the shelter, if they need a place to stay during the day, like that is very often us. So they can come to our space. And that is part of like why we have our own showers and things like that. If you are a trans young person, it might not feel safe to access the various services at a communal shelter that's also divided by gender, which can be really complicated for our non-binary and trans young people. So that is definitely why if you've also interacted with Time Out Youth for a long time, there was a several year period where our age range was actually 13 to 20, I want to say, or 13 to 21. Our age range is now 13 to 24. And part of that too is to be able to expand that housing work and be able to work with more of our young people who are experiencing housing insecurity. So that's been part of that conversation as well. So our age range is 13 to 24 now. If it's been a while since you came to Toy or interacted with Toy, I know that changed a couple of years ago.
Ashanti has our musical reflection.
Yes, ma'am. Also want to put a shout out to Miss Tondra Taylor, who had the thought and went out on a limb and started the discussion at the church there. So, shout out to her as well. As we close today, I want to remind everyone here and those who may be watching or listening later that you are enough exactly as you are. Time Out Youth exists to walk alongside the LGBTQ teenagers as they find their way and discover who they are, letting every teen know they are seen and they are valued and that they belong. We leave you with these words from Daphne Willis, I am enough. Listen to the words. One moment. All of the lies I believe got the better of me. Never thought there could be so much doubt. All the hurt and the hate, the self-hurt and the heartbreak, a fist that kept holding me down. And I was my own worst enemy. And I found my way through it all. And finally I see I'm enough, just as I am. Hold on my heart anywhere that I stand. Hold on my heart and the palm of my hand. And I live my life like nobody else can. I am enough. I am enough for the laughter, the dark that I'm after, enough for my wildest dreams. Yeah, for every war from the toe to my jaw, and exactly where it's supposed to be. And I know I got something to say. And I'm gonna remind myself every day I'm enough, just as I am. Feel right at home anywhere that I stand. Hold out my heart in the palm of my hand, and I live my life like nobody else can. I am enough. Oh, I used to look in the mirror and see all that fear. I could see all that fear in my eyes. Then I saw it get clearer, like the blue in the sky. After the storm rolls through
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was perfect song for today and beautiful, Ashanti. We appreciate you every Sunday
Thank
and
you.
what you add to our service.
Thank you.
And now we just want to take a moment. We appreciate any support financial you can give to Wedgewood so that we can continue our social justice work and the missions that we are on. So please give as you can. And I think we have several call to actions today. One is bringing things to homecoming, bringing donations to our monthly meetups going forward. And I think she gave us a call to share the good news of toy with everyone so that the youth who need their support can find them. Are there any other thoughts that you have on what our call to action, what we need to do in response to what we've heard today? I think if we do those things, we'll be helping a lot. So let's move forward with those ideas. And I want to close with the words of Reverend Tim Atkins. It comes from the Beatitudes. Blessed are the fabulous, for they remind the world that life is meant to be lived in living color. Blessed are the brokenhearted, for they will find chosen family to hold them together. Blessed are the drag queens, the leather daddies, the femmes, the butches, the bears, the twinks, and all beyond and in between, for they will show us the endless diversity and creativity of true love. Blessed are those who have been told, you are just too much, for they will discover they're exactly enough.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed are the lovers who kiss on sidewalks. They make the streets holy ground. Blessed are the ones who glitter and dance and vogue and sing off keys in karaoke bars, for theirs is the kingdom of pure joy. Blessed are the elders who paved the way, often through pain and tribulation, for we follow in the freedom of their hard work. Blessed are the young ones still trying to figure it all out, for the world is wide enough for all of their becoming. Blessed are the whole queer family, for love is their birthright and joy is their inheritance. May it be so.
Maybe so. We extinguish this flame, but we keep the light in our hearts. The message of love and justice, taken outside of the walls into which we live in until we see each other again. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so. Go in peace.